And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Culp. I'm your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Thursday, the 7th. How to make sure. 2025. Hope you're having a good day. As you know, we take this bad boy serious. It is serious talk on everything that affects you. We're going to do markets, and I have to tell you, a lot of jello was moving on the plate today because a lot of news is going on. We're going to take issue with a lot of things that are being said, and we're going to agree with some of the things that are being said. Why? Because we have never had, and this is not a put down, a president that has interfered so much with the free flow of trade and markets as they have been. We've never had this before in any way, shape, or form. I am in agreement with some things, disagreement with the many. We'll get into that. We'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, and everything that shapes it and moves it without agenda, ulterior motive, or bias. Politically, we hate them all. They have proven us right with $37 trillion of debt. This administration has upped the debt gargantuanly. This administration has raised the taxes of this country big time. And sorry, I'm a conservative. And those of you who are conservatives should be really pissed off about the tariffs. But we understand. If you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. We have the YouTube channel, Biz TV. Check that out. And if you'd like to email us, just be nice. So where do we want to start? First off, let's do markets general first. And you'll get where we're going. Dow was down 224, but that was a win. I take it back. It was a loss, and it was a win. Why was it a loss? Well, at the open, we were at 44.5. Am I right? 44.5. Yeah. We were up 300. Finished down 224. Distribution. The good news is we were at 43.799. Rallied back from 380 down, but still a distribution day for the Dow. The NASDAQ. Well, I will tell you the big NASDAQ had its way all day. It was down when the Dow was down 390. But they ramped it into the close, and let me explain how they do that. Apple, Broadcom, NVIDIA, Amazon, Netflix, Tesla. That's how they do it. They are buying into the mega caps that have the most influence over the indices, as we have told you. And it is amazing. It is amazing that we got to this point. I think it's amazing. 7 stocks. 7 stocks. Almost 35% of the S&P. 7 stocks, 65% of the NASDAQ 100. So today, that big did the job. All day, NVIDIA, Microsoft, which was down, but off the lows. Apple, which was up neatly, off of news. Amazon, Meta, which was down. Broadcom, Google, Tesla, Netflix. Costco also. And why do we say that? Because advanced declines again were 19 down, 25, 19 up, 25 down on the NASDAQ. We have taught you throughout the years, when the advanced declines worsen and worsen while the indices hold up, eventually the indices will catch up to the downside. We'll see. We'll see. The advanced declines on the NASDAQ versus the price of the NASDAQ and NASDAQ 100 are pitiful right now, and today was another example. Going into the mega caps, also the semiconductors, other semiconductors today. So, that's the story in the general sense. But this is the biggest week for earnings, and I will tell you, wow. 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 Wild swings today in earnings reports. You ready for this? DoorDash. They opened it up 22. Then it was only up 1. Finished up 12. Duolingo, I am not making this up, at one time today was up 125. Finished up 47. You want to play that? Names like Datadog and DraftKings and Warby Parker opened up strong, finished down. HubSpot opened up 20-something, finished down 30. Fortinet, one of the software security stocks, absolutely blasted, down 22%. Guess what that did? CrowdStrike down $26 today. Leading software security. Zscaler, leading software security, down $17 today. Banks and regionals now starting to act suspect. That's on top of the transports, on top of the insurance, on top of the auto dealers, and on top of the things that are getting busted up on earnings. Because as I said to you, their Brothers Coffee up 12. How about Apple Oven up 46? Celsius up 7. Excuse me. Groupon up about 11%. Hell of a list on the upside. Parker Hannifin up 28. And I have a whole column of stocks that gapped up in the last few days. And we're going to keep a close watch on them for either continuation, good, failure, bad. Today was a rough day, mostly red. Recent strong gaps in some of the bigger names. Meta was down 9 today. A-Lab was down 4 today. Shopify down 4. Not a biggie. Bitcoin. Maybe the correction's over. Gold. Maybe catching up with the miners. Tracing out again. Remember, 2 weeks ago we bought little gold, stopped out. We may get back in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 weeks of trading range in gold, while the miners have gone into new high ground. Pay attention to that. But the most important parts of the equation right now, and let me say them again, watching those big banks and regionals, they're starting to give me pause, as well as other financials. Not great. Not willing to stick the fork in yet, but not great. The advanced decline figures on the NASDAQ, pitiful for what the NASDAQ has done, and as we have said to you, 7 names are 34% of the S&P, and 7 names are almost 65% of the NASDAQ 100. And those 7 names at the close today, they ramped them. And let me explain to you today on the NASDAQ. At 3:30 was 21,136. They rallied them up 106 points in 30 minutes. Go look at what they rallied, those 7. Up next, we're going to take some issue today with some of the things, and you get to decide. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So, and this is important. This is for each and every one of you. Poor, middle class, wealthy. This is for the people that are on Trump's side regardless of what he says or does. You are about to get a tax hike on a lot of things that you buy, depending on what you buy. There are tariffs that went into place today on many things. The backers of Trump keep telling us, don't worry about 10 to 15% tariffs. They'll be okay. We have said to you, well, they could be okay because at that level they can be negotiated. The exporter could decide to negotiate with you and meet you halfway. That's fact. No doubt. Could happen. No doubt. But as a whole, companies are going to eat it. They're going to pay the Treasury. And they do it immediately, by the way. It's a tax on our businesses. And they get to decide if they put it onto the consumer. Walmart has. Walmart's raised some prices. You're about to get a tax hike on a lot of things. And for a lot of people that were complaining about Biden and his inflation, we'll see. We're not guaranteeing you anything. We're just letting you know 10, 15% is about to go on, but not that, just that. Brazil's 50%, notwithstanding some exemptions. They just paused China again. You know why? They're scared crapless. Now, what's our other issues? Besides President Trump raising taxes, big taxes. By the way, they have praised themselves. They have gone on TV and said, we expect $7 trillion in tariffs coming in over the next 10 years. That's $7 trillion out of our economy. What do I complain to you about all the time? Too high a taxes. Why did I tell you we could not have Kamala Harris as president? She was going to raise taxes on everything. Well, President Trump just raised taxes on everything through tariffs. And if any of you know him, tell him to stop BSing the public. Again, out today and said, we're raising hundreds of billions of dollars coming into this country. Those are his words. Coming into this country, no. Being paid by this country. Being paid by this country. Apple was just paid $1.9 billion in taxes to the Treasury. Why do you think Tim Cook just bent the knee to Donald Trump? Because they don't want to pay billions in taxes going forward. And they are taxes. We are not happy. Others are. That any president of the United States can shake down companies on their taxes and pick winners and losers based on what they do. That is not free markets. The praise has been, well, they're going to do all kinds of business here. They already have. Well, they're going to do more. Look what he was able to extract. Apple's going to spend this. This company's going to spend that. Taiwan Semi's going to build this. I don't like it. A president should not be allowed to raise or lower taxes. That should go through the House and the Senate and then signed by the president. This is dictatorial. And I would say it about Democrat, Republican, Independent, or Whig Party. I am worried. Tariffs going into effect now. We've been told everybody's been wrong about the tariffs. They said it was going to kill the economy. They said it was going to do this. That's not true. It was the big tariffs of Liberation Day that everybody complained about. That's why they did the pause and knocked everything down. And now they're just going into effect in a big way. I'm worried. And let me explain the other part. You know, we just did this big, beautiful bill that's going to add massive amount of debt and deficits. They lied about that too. You know, all you people that hate debt and deficits but all of a sudden don't care because it's your president? Well, $2 trillion a year going forward. And that includes tariff gains. I'm worried. I'm not talking about the markets here. I'm talking about your jobs, the economy. Because if the tariffs hurt the economy, that'll hurt the job market. Now, to be fair, in a year or two from now, if they have brought in $250 billion and the economy's in shape, all is well, I'll be on this show saying, excellent. We have no bias. We want great things as outcomes. We're just tired of the BS. We're tired of the lies. And we don't like uncertainty. And they have put so much uncertainty into the system, backed by their minions, telling you how things are so damn great. And of course, he just went and fired an innocent woman because he didn't like a jobs number. So let us call near term not very thrilled with this man. And as you know, we have given him A+++ on the border, A+++ on Israel and the protection of Jewish students. We gave him an A+ on deportation, but we think he got out of hand, so we've lowered that down to B-. But guess what? He must have heard us. So no longer, well, we'll tell you what no longer he's doing on deportation, by the way. You deportation lovers should be upset. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, we were told by Stephen Miller, if you came here illegally, you are going to be sent away. We're going to start with the criminals. And if you are here illegally, you're going back to your home country. That is what they said. No, really, that's what they said. And they were rooted on. Well, just letting you know, they heard me, obviously, because I said it's an impossibility. You can't deport every person that's here illegally. It would be insanity. You will put people out of business. You will destroy the farming community. You will destroy hotels that have maids and busboys, and the list goes on and on and on and on. They're going to be exempting migrants that work on farms. They're going to exempt hotel workers. Do you know why? Because they're smart. They figured it out. They heard what we had to say. I'm going to give them credit for pivoting to smart after being stupid. Yeah, let's just shut down all the hotels and all the farms. So they're doing that too. Just letting you know. So call it a love-hate relationship between me and the president. I wish I can get in a room with him, but I doubt he'd listen to me. I tell him to stop the BS, get rid of the tariffs, but he loves them. Stop telling people the money's coming from elsewhere into the country. It's a lie. And we'll see how it plays out. Today, he gifted Apple. Here, Apple. He gifted Taiwan Semiconductor and others. The money flows went into Apple, a bunch of semis that he exempted. His thought process, well, you don't have to pay tariffs if you make it here. Well, that should be normal anyhow. That's not really anything. If you're making products here, there's no tariffs. But he also did the other part of the equation, which is BS. If you promise to build here, we'll exempt you. Well, everybody's going to line up and say we're going to build here, even though they're not. And you know they're going to be doing is biding their time because they know he's gone in 3.5 years. And if they lose the House or Senate in midterms, there's forget about it. So I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled at all. I don't like dictatorial stuff from high. We got it from Biden with his stupid giveaways. Yeah, don't worry about taking a $250,000 loan out. We'll forgive it. Oh, you're a donor? Oh, go ahead to Delaware and create a fake climate change type company, and we'll give you a $2 billion grant and do what the hell you want to do with it. That was Biden, not to mention his family. I don't want to see that with Trump, but he's doing it. Winners and losers. Because another part today was, oh, the person running Intel is Chinese. Fire him. Is it him or her? I don't even know. Fire that person. Oh, you came with statistics on jobs that I don't like. You're fired. This is all bullcrap. This is dictatorial. You know, there's been complaints about him being a dictator. We have argued against that and all the other BS they claim about him, but I am picking and telling you what is dictatorial. Biden did it. Obama did it. Except the media covered for those two. Trump is now doing it. And who the hell knows what's next? We'll keep you informed. And don't be sending me emails. We're stating facts. You want to argue facts? You cannot argue facts. This is exactly what went on. And people that love him push it as, well, he's the negotiator in chief in this. No! You don't threaten tax policy on our good companies to take or give and take. That's not a president's job. It never has been. Tariffs have been used in a minor league fashion, not as a big steel mallet over the head. Who's next? Everybody's the enemy. Everybody's the enemy. We move on. Back on markets. Wild swing. No, it wasn't wild swinging, but some pretty darn good swings. The benefactors today were the semis off of this whole thing. And again, let me repeat, companies domiciled not here were up today in the semiconductor land because they're promising. No, they're not. Do you think a Dutch company wants to build plants here that their costs are higher than when they do things over there? Hell no. The bottom line is Apple bend the knee because they just paid $1.9 billion in tariffs and it would have continued. The rest of them are saying, don't worry, we'll do this over here. Why? Because they've been 20 some odd billion last month. That's a lot of cake. That's a lot of profits. And these businesses are accountable to their shareholders and their board. And these CEOs do not want to be fired. So what do? They run to the White House. NVIDIA ran to the White House. They got exempt. A crap load of their stuff is made in Taiwan. How did they get exempt? Well, the smart CEO has met many times with the president, and whatever he got out of it, he got out of it. Can't blame him. So we're going to be watching this, I don't know what game of risk with tariffs and taxes. And we'll see how it plays out. I hope one day to meet the president. By the way, everything I'm saying to you, I would say straight to him. With respect, sir. I hope it works out great. I would be thrilled. I am rooting for him. Because if he wins, we win. As we move into tomorrow, by the way, this is the biggest week of earnings. It starts slowing down. We'll have a bunch more next week, but then it really slows down. We are watching closely the big banks and regionals. They're starting to get a little, let's call it a little troublesome. The advanced declines on the NASDAQ are terrible while it holds up great. And you can see it right next to each other. The advanced declines heading south. The NASDAQ, well, it's been trending a little bit here over the last couple of weeks. But today at the close, you can see it in real time. In the last half hour, they bought up Netflix. They bought up Tesla. They bought up Apple. They bought up Broadcom. They bought up NVIDIA. And when I mean bought up, just for the last half hour. And boom, 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 NASDAQ went along for the ride. While advanced declines on the NASDAQ, not good. The new highs and new lows, not good. But NASDAQ finished up 73. NASDAQ 100 finished up 74. While the Dow was down 224. Could have been much better, but could have been a heck of a lot worse. Tomorrow's another day. I will tell you this straight out. Narrower and narrower. And narrower. Fewer soldiers are running up the hill now. And that is something to be watched closely because we've done this 1,000 times with you guys throughout the years. When that occurs, usually you are close to some corrective work. Notice I didn't say bear market. Some corrective work. Up next, this, that, and the other thing. This is the one only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Speaking of bullcrap artists in the news, and this is the little bit of the fun part of living in Florida. In the news, forecasters update hurricane season outlook. Here's what forecasters think the rest of 2025 hurricane season is going to look like? Blah, 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 blah. Do you know there was like 3 or 4 years in a row where we didn't have a hurricane? Something like that. And they said those were going to be the biggest hurricane seasons we've ever had. And we didn't have one. I've been going through this every year. God bless these people that make these predictions, but they base it out of nothingness. I don't know how you can predict hurricanes throughout a 3-month period of time when you don't know what the conditions are going to be at any given point in time. Just so you know. Now we go into the meat of hurricane season. I think we're in it now, but I think it really starts in the next 2 or 3 weeks. They say it's the crux of it and stuff like that. Anyway, welcome to Florida. I have been in a bunch. I must tell you, I was not in Andrew, but when I lived in Boca Raton, Florida, when Andrew hit and came from east to west through South Florida, South Miami, we went down there to help a day later, and we hung out with the National Guard and went around the city down there. They took us because we were helping out, passing out all kinds of things and all kinds of help. It looked like nuclear bomb went off. That's how bad it was. There were swaths of areas that were just gone. Homes just gone. Who knows where they ended up? That's how bad it was. The one thing that I remember when we first got there, there was a Home Depot, the size of a Home Depot, leveled. We respect the hurricanes here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm the wimp. I get the hell out of here when one is approaching. I am gone before you can say boo when one of those suckers are approaching. In the news, judge orders a halt to Florida's alligator Alcatraz. Have you read about this? They put together in part of the Everglades this, they're calling the alligator Alcatraz, and the reports are really bad conditions and this, that, and the other thing. Well, a judge who knows how that ends up. I only can tell you what I hear, so I'm not going to opinionize on it, on what the heck is going on there, but they come up with freaky names for freaky things. Alligator Alcatraz, huh? Whoever came up with that. A little more in depth is 15 to 25% in anything that comes from Japan, 15% in anything that comes from Europe. Canada, I believe, is 35 right now. 50 on Brazil with some exemptions, and just a litany. I got the list here. And again, all the talk, oh, you were all wrong about tariffs. No, they haven't really kicked in just yet, kids. So stay tuned. We are going to cover it. And as you know, I will speak to my small amount of connections on this, on things that are coming in, and what kind of an effect there is. And we'll talk to you about your industry on what happens there. Just remember, there is a damn good chance that things you've been buying for $5, you're going to be paying $6. I've spoke to people in the car industry. They're beside themselves right now. They don't know which heads are up right now. So there's a lot of movement. And every time I'm on TV, and I said it yesterday to Stuart Varney, Stuart, I will be so happy when we don't have to talk about tariffs anymore. But unfortunately, the president has a love affair with the tariffs. And who know? I don't know what's next. We will keep a watch. I mentioned Bitcoin earlier. I've been asked about it. It looks like a low's being put in. I'm watching gold again. 15 weeks of range. I stopped out the first time. Small position, lost very little. And percentage-wise, lost very little also. If it breaks out, we'll let you know. But the miners did. But the big story is these mega cap techs that are really starting to take over. They had better be watched closely. And the semiconductors off of all this moving parts news. I have to tell you, when I heard he put 100% tariff on any semiconductor coming in here from over there, 100%. I thought the semis would get trashed today. But everybody's making a call. Don't worry, we'll build here. Please. We'll see if that comes to fruition. In my mind, I think they're all full of crap. Most all. I read a story about Micron. Oh, $200 billion they're going to spend. Bullcrap. The free cash flow this year was $386 million. How are you spending $200 billion? Your whole market cap of your company in the market is $120 billion. How are you spending $200 billion? So a bunch of bullcrap is going on to appease the president also. And again, you want to know what that has to do with the markets? Everything. Absolutely everything to do with the markets, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we'll discuss Hertz tomorrow. They're using AI to screw you over, as well as other rental car agencies. We'll explain. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. I mistimed. When you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Thanks for joining. Make sure you work out tonight. Good night.